So I'm gonna make a video about how to study habits and how to study successful people, just what's worked for me personally in developing my habits and my values. Differences between a practitioner and an idealist. So the reasoning why you should listen to me or why I feel this is valuable is I've read hundreds of autobiographies and I've done tons of resilient things, 15-day fasts, I don't know, marathons, whatever. But just after reading so many autobiographies and so many self-help books, I've realized the difference between someone that's a practitioner and someone that's an ideologist. So I believe obviously the first things first is discover who do you want to be? Like, what are the values of the person that you most want to be, right? What does that individual look like? Once you have a general idea in your mind, some kind of an image, somebody's done whatever you want to do before. It's already been done thousands of times, hundreds of times, maybe only one time, but somebody's done it. And if you find somebody that's documented it, it just 10 times is the speed of everything, right? But I'm putting a different twist on something that I think people already know, which is that obviously you want to find someone that's done what you've done, right? Me personally, I have my values, I have my habits, I have the things that I want to be in life, and I find idols that emulate very closely what I want to be. All right, some of the examples, and you don't have to agree with them, you don't have to like them, these are some of my idols: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, David Goggins, right? These are some of the individuals, Conor McGregor, okay? These individuals all have similar character traits and they have extreme success in their life. But the point of it all is that they are practitioners, right? Read an autobiography of someone like Elon Musk, who's the richest documented man on earth, and you try to find out what worked for them, right? And Michael Jordan, you find out what worked for them, what didn't, what worked for them, what didn't, right? And then you measure it across different individuals. This isn't as burdensome as you think. But let's say, for example, you go on Elon Musk. What is Elon Musk? He's impulsive, right? He has a temper. He lacks empathy. You know, you go to someone like Donald Trump. What would you say? Probably lacks empathy, potentially. He has a good amount of anger. Andrew Tate, he may say the same things. Extremely competitive, right? But you don't want to take everything from these individuals. That's the importance of reading the autobiographies, but then also reading the practitioners. The books like the books of psychologists, you know, The Marshmallow Effect by Walter Mischel. I believe there's a book called The Slight Edge. I can't remember who it was by, right? But it talks about, you know, the commonalities between all the people that were super successful, right? And you want to read the autobiography because you want to actually know from your own personal perspective, being in depth and seeing that person, what made them successful. And, you know, you can argue, right? Elon Musk, just as a random example, he didn't have a lot of empathy. He was very fast and he moved and he cut people and he didn't really give a crap. And he was very angry and very impulsive. Some people could read that and they could argue that's part of the reason he was so successful, right? It's an argument. But then you could also go to a practitioner book and you could read about other character traits that worked well across other individuals. And so it's just important to interweave both of those and then come to your own conclusions. I really don't like how popular I think the Goodreads is. One of those audiobooks that you listen to for 10, 15 minutes and then it tells you the entire book. You're missing the entire argument. You're supposed to be brainwashing your brain. You don't need the general idea. If I get the general idea of Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, if that's the name of the book, it's like I don't need to read a 15-minute summary to understand that discipline is the key to life, right? I need the reason why you're listening or watching a video like this is because I'm taking information that purportedly, potentially, you already have a key inkling of, and I'm putting a different spin on it, I'm adding more depth to it. You can meditate on one word for a long period of time. You could read 10 books on discipline that are 300 plus pages, and you still could know, you only know just the inkling of it, right? Just an inkling. You read 10 books on something. There's actually a great book on that, on how reading 10 books is simply the beginning. It was the same book, I think, Superhuman. It was The Art of Flow. I'm not gonna be able to remember, but reading a summary of something is so inefficient. You need to read an actual book because that's compiling 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years or way more of somebody's life. Versus if you read a blog let's say that's the exact same quantity of time to read that, you only be getting a few days of somebody's life and their experience. Versus if you were to watch a podcast, maybe get a month of somebody's life. A book is the biggest bang for a time investment buck. And so the key takeaways from the video I'm trying to get at is that you have to study autobiographies of practitioners, David Goggins, Being Tough, but then you also need to read a book about mental toughness, someone actually going over the physical strategies. You're watching them in action, and then you're reading a book about it. I would say for every 2 autobiographies, you have 1 of the actual book. That would be my math. Why? Because a practitioner and actually coming to your own conclusions is so much more valuable than actually reading it verbatim, in my personal opinion.